I'm Eric Hayden from the National Weather Service in Newport, Morehead City, North Carolina. This is the second part of 7 for a basic SKYWARN. If you have any questions, my contact information is at the bottom of the screen. Again, please complete all 7, and when you're done, send me an email and we'll get you a course certificate. This part we're going to focus on some fundamental definitions and how you can get products from the National Weather Service. Since this is a spring SKYWARN, we're going to focus on the threats such as severe thunderstorms and tornadoes. I want to go over the difference between a watch and warning. A watch means conditions are favorable for that event in and near the watch area. So the example would be a severe thunderstorm watch, a tornado watch. It means that conditions are favorable for severe thunderstorms, or in the case of a tornado watch, the conditions are favorable for a tornado to occur in the area. So everything, all the ingredients are in place. We're not close enough to the event to issue a warning yet. If we upgrade to a warning, that means it's imminent or occurring. So again, a watch means it's just a possibility, and a warning means it's imminent or occurring. A couple of other examples. With a watch, we tend to have a wider area in terms of our focus. A watch is many, many hours in duration, maybe the better half of an afternoon or evening, and it could cover a good chunk of a state or a part of a state, because again, all the conditions are there for the possibility of this to occur. If we upgrade to that warning, our focus is more narrowed. The timeline is usually under an hour, perhaps as short as 30 or 45 minutes. And instead of half of a state, we might be only talking a county or part of a county, because again, it's imminent or occurring. Now, the specific definition of a severe thunderstorm is a storm that produces hail 1 inch or larger, or wind gusts 58 miles per hour or stronger. And those are specific numbers because that's roughly the threshold where we start to see damage, inch diameter hail and or gust 58 miles per hour or stronger. You'll notice that lightning is not on there. Lightning is certainly deadly and is a hazard that we're concerned about. But by nature, if we issued a warning for every thunderstorm, we would be doing that a good chunk of the summer, especially in our area. So for lightning, we cover it with other products we issue. If we don't think it's going to have large hail or strong winds, we could do a special weather statement, especially if it was heading to a populated area, campground, a vulnerable population. We certainly could do that. And for the water, we can do special marine warnings or statements to cover the lightning threat. So as far as a severe thunderstorm is concerned, the specific criteria is on large hail and or winds 58 miles per hour or greater. Some other definitions, I mentioned that we give you a bit of science, but there's certain parts we want you to focus on, and this is one of them. The difference between, what is a tornado, what is a funnel cloud, and the difference between the two of them. For a tornado, it's a violently rotating column of air in contact with the ground. The key word there being it has to be rotating and it has to be in contact with the ground. A funnel cloud is similar in that it is also rotating, and what I mean by that, real tight rotation, it will be obvious when you see it, but with the funnel cloud, it's not touching the ground. So keywords there, rotating, and then does it connect to the ground or not? That will be the difference between a tornado and funnel cloud. We like to emphasize this throughout the class because if it's dark out, maybe we have some type of warning and somebody sees a triangular shaped cloud that's low hanging. If they haven't been through one of these spotter classes, they may automatically assume it's a tornado or funnel cloud. And with our spotter classes, again, we're emphasizing you have got to see rotation if it's one of the two. Couple more slides on how to get information from our website. Our main website is weather.gov. If you just go to that and click on your part of the country, that will send you to your local page. Here in Eastern North Carolina, you can click on the eastern part of the state, or you can put /MHX. Also encourage you to go to mobile.weather.gov. The mobile-friendly site is very, very good for a forecast based on zip code or your city. You can get an hourly forecast for where you live. We're going to talk about the PC-based format. On the mobile site, you can certainly go down to the full site and you will get this. So those are a couple of the links that you'll need. Here's the forecast, weather.gov/MHX. Just want to show you a couple general items on the main page, then we'll dig down into the forecast. To get that forecast, you can get it three different ways. The upper left, there's a couple spots that you can enter your city or zip code, or you can click on the map itself. If there's any type of hazardous weather, advisories, warnings, watches, even the hazardous weather outlook, the map in the central part of your screen right now will light up. Talking about the specific point and click forecast, again, you can get to it a couple different ways. You can enter your city or zip code or click on the map. Once you do that, in this case we entered a location near the Jacksonville, North Carolina area. At the top, it comes up with the current conditions near your airport or the airport closest to you. I kind of call it the quick and dirty forecast, the icons, high and low temperature, and percentages for rain. If you scroll down on the forecast, you get detailed forecasts with text. That will give you a little bit more information, things such as how much rain is going to fall, wind speed, and direction. And notice in the lower right, it's a Google map. That's a 3 by 3 mile box where that specific forecast is. So in this case, you can move it and say, no, I actually live a little bit closer to Jacksonville, or I'm a little bit farther west. Here in eastern North Carolina, you might not notice a huge difference in our forecast, especially with temperatures, because we don't have the terrain that, say, the western part of the state has, or over toward the Rocky Mountains. With that said, if you click on a forecast location near the coast in the summer, you will notice the temperature difference due to the forecast, if we're going to see a sea breeze or not. And you will notice some slight differences in the wintertime with regards to our snowfall forecast. If you scroll down this page, on the very bottom right, there's some other information, a local radar, satellite, and different types of forecast. For the higher end user, you might be interested in what's called the hourly weather forecast, highlighted in red. If you click on that, for that specific area you clicked on, you get a nice graph going out the next 48 hours. It defaults to that, but you can go forward through our 7 days. It does default to the whole kitchen sink. What I mean by that, each weather element, temperature, dew point, heat index, rain, thunder, is checked off. So if this map looks a little, or this graph looks a little too busy for you, simply uncheck those elements at the top and click submit to do that again. I love this if I'm trying to cut the grass, plan a picnic. All I want to know about is temperature and what is the chance of precipitation. And just knowing that it's a 30% chance for today doesn't really help me. The hourly weather graph you can see on the bottom for the precipitation potential, it shows exactly what parts of the day are a higher risk for rain than others. One last thing I want to show you for part 2 of our SKYWARN is a national website that's fantastic. It's the Storm Prediction Center. It's spc.noaa.gov. Much like the Hurricane Center would work with us to issue hurricane watches and warnings, the Storm Prediction Center works with us to issue tornado and thunderstorm watches, but they also do a fantastic job outlining where severe weather is possible with their weather outlooks through the next 8 days. It's a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being the lowest risk, which would be a marginal risk, all the way up to 5, which would be a high risk. This is an example from 2011 across the southeast part of the country. Quickly, with the brighter colors and higher numbers, you can see where the highest threat is. We typically get quite a few marginal and even some slight risks during the summer, so this is a year-to-year occurrence. A moderate risk around here, certainly not unheard of, but moderate or high is usually once every 5 to 10 years. Those are those higher end events that we don't tend to get every summer. This concludes the second part of our basic SKYWARN training. I encourage you to click part 3 of our 7 coming up.